Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth video in this module. So as we all know, AI is everywhere presently. Everybody uses AI and designers have to adapt to changes in technology. AI is here and it is here to stay. And also it's just a big advantage in your workflow, less stressful actually, when you know how to use AI to generate the images that you want. So for this video, we'll be designing from a brief, and like we always do, there's always a resource folder attached in the description, so go there, download the resources so you can follow along. Alright, so I'm going to open the copy I was given for this design. When you're working with people, mostly this is how the copy is going to look, because they text you on WhatsApp, they text you on Instagram, whichever platform you use. It's not usually as detailed as the previous one we did. That one was AI generated, and it's also a flyer that includes a lot of things, has a lot of text. That's why it was that long. But this is basically how people would mostly give you content to design for them. So we have the logos here, Brutalist Institute and NIFT logo. I actually went to Pinterest to search for random fashion logos. So I'm not going to include these because the logos don't belong to me. I'm just going to use them in the design so you can see how I'll place them. Then you decide yourself if you want to put logos there. You can also go online to search for fashion logos on Pinterest and put it there yourself. So this is the content of the design: the textile language workshop, a one-day textile design intensive training covering color systems, motif development, repeat pattern engineering, and so on. Then we have the dates, venue, and other details. Now we've mentioned that when you are designing, everything you use should have a reason for being there. It should pass a message across. Now we could go into Pinterest, we could go into FreePic to look for an image that is kind of close to this: color systems, motif development, repeat pattern engineering, and so on. Luckily, we might find something that works, but that's not very likely. In the end, if we are going to go that route, we just have to pick a generic picture that includes fashion, includes textile. But with AI, we have freedom to generate whatever it is we want on our own. But before we even go to that, let's open Photoshop and start creating our file. So we come to new file. You already know the deal. It's a social media flyer, 4x5, 372 ppi for your resolution. Make sure artboard is checked, then you click on create. Also, I included a flyer actually where I got inspiration from while I was going through Pinterest. We won't be doing that in this video, but I would include this flyer in the resources folder. I did not design this, I saw it on Pinterest and I kind of felt this is good, this is nice, I can use it for my design. Remember in the last video when we were designing for that business that sells food, we were looking for flyer designs of people that sell food, and that was what we kind of picked and got inspiration from, even though we used some other flyers like people selling courses, if I remember correctly. But this is Control Shift. I think it's a church event or something like Tech Bros in church, but I just like the concept of the flyer. That's why I picked it up and thought whatever I'll be designing, I'll try to implement this concept, the concept of people sitting on a platform and our main text being at the lower parts of the design. So without further ado, let's get started. So here we have all the content of our design. One thing I like to do instead of switching back and forth from Notepad to Photoshop is to just copy everything. Either it's WhatsApp, wherever you got the brief from, copy everything, come to Photoshop, out of the artboard, pick your text tool, then click and drag to create a text box. Now that you've created the text box, you just paste whatever you copied there. Now this is 41, that's why nothing is showing presently, so I'm going to change it to 12 so that we have it here in the software at once instead of having to go back and forth. And you might notice that it's not really clear the way it is now. What you can do is create an artboard around it so that it has its own artboard. So come to your artboard tool here, then click and drag over it. Now we can change the text from white to black. You know, the art body is now white, so it won't be visible that way. Change it to black, and like that we have our text, so we don't need to keep going back to notepad. So you can close this. All right, so here we have the logos. We'll come to that later, but then this is the main text, the textile language workshop. Now, one thing you would notice in like several designs is when you see something that's like for example, the move of the spirits, if you were designing a church flyer design, or the textile language workshop, one thing you can do is just use a script font for this. I'm going to do that now so you understand what I am saying, so it won't be like I'm just talking. So we come here, let's type the textile language workshop. All right, I've mentioned before you reduce line spacing, but if you still don't know it, you can go online to search for the shortcuts, or you just come to your properties panel. Everything is usually in the properties panel. Then you come to this line spacing and then you adjust, but then there's a shortcut for it. You can go online to search, then select everything. I'm going to change my font to Poppins. This, I think I like this. Then click on Ctrl Z to compare, Ctrl Shift Z. Okay, maybe this extra bold is too much. Let me keep it at semi bold. All right, so I mentioned the other time that when we have the signs that include the word D, you can just take it out and do something like this. Let me align everything here to the center. Okay, let me increase the size of this. I'm going to duplicate this. You can just come over to create another text, but duplicating is faster than type D. And I'm going to change the font here to a script font. Let me use Taken by Vultures. Yes, yeah, I think this works. All right, so if we have something like this here, it kind of looks good compared to just having everything in the same font, right? So something like this, something like off, these things are things you can take out of the rest of the text and use a script font for. But the more you see the science inspiration and the more you kind of grab these concepts. I think this should be thicker than it is now, so I'm going to change it to bold. All right, and that works for me. Okay, now I mentioned that this is what I'm taking inspiration from, right? Let me change the line height. Yes, this is good. Now this is a platform, and yeah, my design is going to basically be black, and what color should I pick? Let me use black and this very light shade of blue. Okay, I'm just creating rectangles here and trying to change the color. Okay, let me give you the X code for this. This is 14C2F5 in case you want to use the exact colors I'm using. So I'm going to select this to drag it out here. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm trying to recreate this platform that we have here. This platform these guys are sitting on, standing on. So I'm going to come here, draw this. That's a rectangle. All right, and what will you notice here? The fill on this platform, I don't know if they actually created it the way we are attempting to create it, but then as long as we achieve the same result, it's fine. So what you'll notice is if you look at this as a rectangle, you would notice that the fill is kind of a gradient from this dark shade of purple to a lighter shade that we have here. So we are going to try to do the same thing here. You can double click on the left side of your rectangle here. It's going to take you to the layer style panel, or you can just come here to f of x. You can see it says add a layer style. It's the same thing. Come to stroke, click on stroke. I'm going to go this route, double click. I'm going to come to stroke. Oh no, it shouldn't be stroke, sorry about that. It should be gradient overlay. It's good. Now because I designed this before, I'm just designing it again for the sake of this tutorial. It's going to show me the last gradient I used, but in case, let's just change it. In case yours is something like this, you now will change gradients, right? You come here, this just shows your opacity, right? This black on top shows your opacity, this shows your opacity, but then what is under is actually the color. So we come here, pick perfect black, then we come to this place also. Let's first pick perfect black, then we move it up a little bit, right, to get that gradient effect. Right, you can see it now. It looks like this is dark, this is also dark, but a bit lighter. All right, now we have this upper part of this platform where they are actually standing on. So how do we create that? We create another. We can actually use pen tool, but I would prefer that we use another rectangle. Right, so let's do another rectangle this way, from this end to the other end. Then reduce the size so that it's just as wide as the flyer, reduce the height, and then I'm going to drag it down. It's just above the initial rectangle we've drawn. So what am I trying to do now? I'm trying to bring this edge, to bring it in, and also bring this edge in, like we have it here. Look at this, comes in, this comes in, so it looks like, is it a trapezium? I'm not sure anymore. I'm going to hold on Control, then drag. I can see it's moving around. How do we prevent that? We hold on Shift. Right, now it's moving in a straight line. Now we want to replicate this on both sides without having to do it twice. What do we do? Alt. So we move and both moving. Now it's not like I knew this thing before. It's not like I knew it's Control Shift Alt. It's just me holding on Control to move this part freely, and then realizing, oh, I want it to move in a straight line, holding on Shift, and then also realizing I want this change to happen on the other side, Alt, then I drag. So I can come up here and drag this down like this, and like so we've created what we want. And if you found this difficult, you can just come to your pen tool, P for pen tool, click on an anchor point here, hold on Shift. So your next clicking is going to be straight, like that. If I didn't hold on Shift and I just did this, you can see it's now straight. So Shift, click again, then do this, hold on Shift, click again. The only issue is the angle here might not be the same as the angle here, but you can just come to your direct selection tool and then adjust this while holding on Shift. So I can do it one way, you do it another way, as long as we get the same thing, right? I'm even going to use it actually. As long as we get the same thing, it's cool. So let me increase the size of this so it goes from edge to edge, and yeah, perfect. So what we are going to do now is we'll change the color of our text to white. Let me bring it here first and bring everything to the top. Then come here, change the color of the text. You can do the same in the properties panel, properties window. Ctrl G to group everything. I think this is cool. I think I might actually want to extend this rectangle because I have quite a bit of content left to actually put here. So I'm going to put this here this way, right? And now we've created this platform that we are seeing. So the next thing actually is now an image that kind of passes this message across. That it's a textile design intensive training that covers color systems, motif development, repeat pattern engineering, and career path tracing, textile and surface design. Now this is the most important part of this video. In case you've been skipping any other parts previously, please make sure you don't skip this, because this is the focus of this video, generating the image you want with AI. Now there are several AI tools available today. We have Gemini, we have ChatGPT. I don't think Claude generates image actually. There's this platform from Google that allows you to generate images. I think Image FX, it has not been discontinued. And also we have Magnific, which was previously free pick. Now what and which one do I use? I actually use Gemini mostly because Nano Banana for now is actually the best image generation tool that is available and affordable. So I have a Gemini Pro account. This is it. But I don't think I've actually noticed a big difference between generating with the free version and generating with this. The only difference I can say is actually that I think the free version has a limit to how many pictures you can generate like within a span of time. So if you generate too much, like it generates the first time you didn't get it, you make changes, it will get to a point where it would ask you to upgrade because you cannot generate any longer. So that is the difference. I think that happens also in ChatGPT. But if you prompt well, you are going to get what you want easily. So my style is using Gemini and ChatGPT together, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me come to ChatGPT.com. Alright, let me just wait for it to log me in. Alright, now I'm not doing this as a step-by-step process. This is just what makes sense to me and what works for me. It's not like I've taken a course separately on AI prompting or whatever those courses are called. So I'm going to bring our flyer here. What we are trying to generate is, instead of these people that we have here, we want to have people that their actions, activities, or whatever they are doing is going to pass across this message. That is the issue. We can't get this on FreePic, on Pinterest. We are just going to use a generic picture instead if you decide to go that route. That's the advantage AI gives us. So I'm going to come here. The first thing I want to do now is, if you just paste this directly into AI, it's going to get confused. Why? You have 5 days to go. We have all these things that are not related to what you want to generate. So what do? We come here, we say remove every text. I hope you can see. Let me try to increase the interface here. Right, 100. So this will be good. So remove every text. Remove everything else. I just need a simple clean image. Portrait. You have to specify portrait too, because from what I've noticed, AI is fond of generating landscape images for you, and obviously we don't need landscape here. So remove everything else. I just need a simple clean image of the people in the flyer sitting on the platform. Also remove the 05 text effects behind them. So we are going to wait for ChatGPT to do this. You can start from Gemini and then move to ChatGPT. The idea is just use like these two AI platforms so that you don't run out of credits or whatever it's called. Okay, so we're just going to hold on and wait for it to work on our design for us. Alright, now it's done that for us, but we notice that one person is missing. These are little things that you would have to fix yourself. So you specify one person is missing, ing, and let me see the previous prompt. Remove everything else. Right, so I'm just going to put that again, and we'll wait again for it to generate another image. Now, if you were only using ChatGPT, you'll get to a point. We've not started generating what we want. We are just trying to get the reference image for whatever would be using eventually to understand what we want to generate. So if you're only using one platform and then you've used all your credits trying to get the reference, then you definitely have to move to another platform to continue your edit. Now we have the people generated for us. So what am I going to do? I'm going to click on this. I'm going to download and save. All right, let's see. I might actually not end up using Gemini if I don't run out of credits on ChatGPT free. So the next thing we are going to do is I'm going to create another chat. I noticed this, that one of the mistakes people make is trying to continue a thread with AI. It's going to hallucinate at some point. So the best thing is, if you've gotten one step done successfully, you move to another chat. I'm going to create a new chat here, and I'm going to drag this in. Good. So I'm going to prompt it. You can, prompt in your like normal language, the way you talk to someone. So I'm going to say, look at this image, the way the people are sitting, standing on the platform. And another thing I've noticed works for me is keywords should be capitalized. You can capitalize keywords. I think AI is going to notice it, that this is important, so it's going to make sure it does not miss that part. Standing on the platform, and up me generate an image of about 4 people doing what's below. So we'll come to our brief, and I'm just going to select color systems, motif development, and this. Now, one thing also with AI image generation is if you just paste this here, it might generate something that just includes a lot of text and it tries to fit everything in, so it just looks like a poorly designed mosaic, like the elements of whatever it generates do not relate to each other. Now, I'm going to say it doesn't need to be obvious and literal. You don't need to generate an image with the text motif development, for example, but the general story of whatever you generate should tell. Then I'm going to paste this again, repetition, so that in case it misses this here, then it's going to see it. And also, I do not want it to generate and include any text for me at all, so I'm going to specify that also. Do not include any text. Now, the fact that you did it this way does not mean it's going to generate what you want for you. So it's just trial and error, and you have to keep thinking of different ways to specify exactly what you want. But for each iteration, for each time you try, make sure you try to be as descriptive as possible, unless you have the premium plan of ChatGPT or the premium plan of Gemini, where you have freedom to try as many times as you can. But if you are using the free plan, which I believe most people would probably be using, then it's best you are specific and try to maximize every single chance you get. So let's click on this and hope it generates what we want. See, perfect. Now there's no text, it looks like a connected story. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Everything looks connected. Now, what next are you going to do? I don't think I would have more credits left, but just to show you that you can use a ChatGPT and Gemini, let me come to Gemini. So I'm going to pick up what I downloaded, then bring it into Gemini. What I need is to keep every person, every textile, every paper. Basically, just remove the purple background. Now you can just type remove the background, but one thing about these AI platforms is it doesn't remove background like Photoshop does or like remove.bg does. It doesn't remove background that way. It's going to try to generate something else for you. So you have to specify that you don't need another image generation. Just remove background. You have to specify this so that it doesn't go ahead and generate another image. Oh, I'm on the pro plan. Let me switch back to the free plan. Let's switch back to this. All right, we have so let's bring it here. It's still loading, and we'll submit, and again hope that it generates exactly what we want. If it doesn't, we have to find other means of solving this problem of removing the background. We can actually just bring this into Photoshop even and use our lasso polygonal tool to remove the background. That way we have like way more control than relying on AI to do it for us. So you can just bring it here and start removing the background ourselves. Alright, now it has removed it, but what do we have here? We still have a white background. So I'm going to specify again. I should have specified the first time that I need a PNG. I need a PNG or checkered background at least, not a white background. So one thing I think ChatGPT actually gives, it gives PNGs, but I'm not sure Gemini does. If this doesn't work, we'll go to ChatGPT. Let's just go to ChatGPT while we wait for this to load. So remove the background. Don't generate another image, just act as a background remover. And what else? I need a PNG, or at least a checkered background, not that you replace this with a white or black background. So let's check Gemini and see, right? So it can't actually generate PNGs completely, or can it? I don't think it can. So this is the best it can actually give us. So we'd have to remove the background ourselves. So we can come to Photoshop, bring it in here, and just remove background. Now because it's checkered, it will be way easier for Photoshop to remove whatever it is that we want to be removed. Let me delete this. Okay, right, and Photoshop just did nonsense. You can see the way it removed it, right? This is going to give us a lot of issues, more issues than actually anticipated. Let's hope ChatGPT gives us the PNG. If it doesn't, then we'd have to manually remove the background ourselves. Right, while that is loading, let me come to Photoshop and try to remove the background. It's not every time you get exactly what you want directly or immediately. You have to do several iterations, most times corrections. All right, I'm going to drop this rectangle and the shape down because I need more space at the top. It's not literal, but you can see color systems. You can see it here. I don't like the fact that it's morphing the faces. So we come back here. It turns out that trial and error did not work. So we have to come back here and remove the background manually ourselves. Right, we just have to do it. So how do you remove background? You know that your lasso polygonal tool. I'm just going to show you a quick example. You select like this, make sure the layer is selected, then you click on mask, Ctrl I to invert, and the places painted white is going to show. Whatever is painted black will be hidden. Let me select again like this and right click, fill. What's my foreground color? Black, which is to hide, right? It hides it. So I'm going to speed this up and make my selection, remove the background. So you can just look at the end results. There's no need to even look at the end results. If you are able to generate a PNG that is okay and works, it's fine, since I'm not going to be giving you this image. All right, so for people using a mouse, I believe most people actually use mouse. I would advise that when you're making selection, you do it in chunks. You don't try to select everything at once, because if you make a mistake of double clicking, then your whole work has been ruined, right? So you select a small part, maybe from here to here, for example. You close it up, fill it with fill the mask with black, then you pick another part and you continue like that. But I'm using a graphics tablet, so it's kind of easier for me to make these selections. But it doesn't matter if you're using a mouse, you just have to improvise the way I said. Make sure you do your selection in small bits. Alright, so I've made all my selection. I've manually removed the background, so I'm going to place my generated image here this way. And do I want this purple shade? I don't think I do. There's still something to remove here. Yes. Alright, I don't want this purple shade. I think I want something close to this blue, because that's the color we started with. So I'm going to come to my use saturation adjustment layer, then I'm going to clip it into this image that we have here, and move it towards the blue parts of the blue parts like this. Alright, now you can see the faces of the people are kind of purple. They are not from Thanos's planet, so we have to take that away. What we can do is come to this use saturation layer, because that's definitely what's changing the color of the face. So come here, click on the mask, then paint away this adjustment layer, paint it away from the faces. And how do you hide black? Make sure your foreground color is on black, and then you paint like this. So this hue saturation adjustment layer does not affect the parts that you're hiding it from, right? So let's take it away from the hands to like so. All right, now you can use a mouse, a graphics tablet for this, makes no difference. One is just kind of easier to do this with than the other, but you can do it with both regardless. I mean, I was using a mouse before I got a graphics tablet, and that didn't stop me from doing stuff like this. So it doesn't stop anyone really. Let's come here. Let's paint off this effect from the face, the hands, and the legs if they are visible. I don't think all of them are wearing shoes, so we don't have their legs that could have been affected. Let's go to the third person. Okay, we have this guy's legs. Yeah, so those little details, make sure you don't miss them, because some might just zoom into your picture and like, what's going on here, right? So we have someone in this picture here. We have to do that. Just look at the details. I mean, we are not using the same image because I'm still not sure at this point. I'm going to give you this. Just whatever it generates, just make sure it makes sense, right? And what makes sense here is that these people are dark skinned or brown skinned, not that their skin is purple. All right, we have that done like that. Let me reduce the size of, I've not saved. Okay, so let me save it as textile design here and save. All right, let me reduce the size of this because I think we still have a couple of things to add. Yeah, more than a couple of things actually. Textile language workshop, we can change the color of this textile language text. Now I'm going to switch back to a mouse because I'm done selecting. All right, so we select our textile language and I want to make it this color. Yeah, instead of it just like everything being white. So we have the textile language workshop. That part is done. I do not want this background to be plain white like we have here. So let's go to paint, guys, and look for white texture. I think I'm going to include this into the source folder so you don't have to look for it. Okay, let me drop it in the source folder here and yeah, paste it into the design, bring it to the very back like so. Yeah, so we have, you know, the effect here. We can reduce the opacity so it's not as obvious as this. Right, so should I work on the logos now? I think I'm going to do that now. The logos, bring in the two logos. Now we are going to do something here that I don't think we've done in the previous videos, so I probably can't remember us doing it. All right, now this is white on white, right? It works. We can just place it here, no issues. It works for us. But what about this? If we paste this here, it doesn't make sense. Are we now going to start selecting using our lasso polygonal tool? Well, I don't believe we need to do that because what we need to erase is just a single color, black. So we can just tell Photoshop to select black and we mask instead of using our lasso polygonal tool to trace text manually. This works mostly for, you know, logos that are single colored or vectors, SVGs, icons that you download online. So basically we come to select color range, then shadows is black. Make sure you have shadow selected. You can put your fuzziness around 30, range 80. I don't know, this, it's still going to select it regardless of what values you pick. So I'll come here and mask. Now it has masked the white, keeping the black. So what do? You invert the mask, Ctrl I. Now it has kept the white and it has taken away the black. Now what do we have here? I hope you can see it. What we have here is white on white. Now what are we going to do? We have our logo. We have to convert it to a smart object first. Now we are going to overlay black on it so that it will be visible. So we come here, come to color overlay, you can see, change this to black. Now we have our logo, it's visible. If you use softwares like, I think, CorelDRAW, Figma has plugins that make this easier, but then as long as we are getting the same thing. Now selecting this is kind of selecting the background which is giving us issues. I don't need this background to move at all. I can just come here and lock it. So yeah, when I make selection, it knows I'm trying to select what's on top. Is this part of the group, this, okay, the Brutalist Institutes. All right, so select this and the logo. Let's group them and put them at the center. Let's use guides, view, guides, new guide layout. All right, so we'll use this as, you know, a visual guide to see if it's in the middle or not. All right, so this works. Right, this works. Now I think I mentioned I'm not going to give you this logo, so whatever logo you downloaded, just at this point with the logos we've used, the manipulations, everything we've explained about, you know, color overlay, converting to smart objects, things like that. If you come across problems, you should be able to think, okay, I have this problem, how do I solve it? All right, now I think we should actually edit this picture that we have here, because these faces kind of seem too dark or too reddish. So I'm going to come here, click on this, and, you know, the hue saturation adjustments layer, convert to smart objects, and Ctrl+Shift+A to bring out your camera raw filter window, or you come to filter, come to camera raw filter. All right, so basically what we are just going to do is come to color mixer, reds, reduce the reds. Right, so this looks more natural. Let me put it on the before and after view. Yeah, this looks more natural. Look at, I'm taking down the oranges. It looks more natural than this that just looks like the person was painted red. There's just a little change that you might not even do, and your design will still be good, but I just felt we should do that for mine. And all right, I think we need to work faster. We're almost done with this. Actually, come to our text to create a text box here, and Poppins bold, I'm using regular for this, or probably light. Let me change the text size to 6. All right, and reduce the line spacing. Let me change the color to white, so at least see what I'm working on. All right, reduce the line spacing like so. 5 will probably work. Yeah, I think 6 is okay. So we'll come here to click on to copy this, a 1 day common. We'll copy this, come here and paste it here. We have Poppins light 6 and white. So Poppins light, text size 6, and this should be white. All right, it should be a 1 day. I think I missed something there. All right, okay, now I want this to be justified, because it actually looks good justifying text in some cases, not in every case, by the way. I'm going to justify like so, or just justify every other part except the last one. They leave down at the center. All right, so this is it before justifying, and this is it after. Just like, I don't think there's any difference really. So let's come to our text here in 1 day and move it up. Make sure it's at the center of the design itself. Then take it out of the group, put it at the center. Then this group also, let me center this group. All right, what next do we have? Our registration link. So we can just put that, let's create a rectangle, give it some corner radius. All right, now this rectangle is not distinct from the background, so what can we do? We can give it a stroke of white, and instead of just an ordinary stroke, we can give it a dotted stroke, right, so that it kind of stands out a little bit. Yeah, this is good. So let me move it up to create space. Move this up, move this, and this here. So I'm going to duplicate this. I want to create an effect and give it a fill of white. Come to my direct selection tool. A is your direct selection tool that you have here. Delete this. Yes. Then I'm going to move this back here. Now you'll see the effect I'm trying to create here. Let me give this a mask, and G to bring out your gradient tool, and you just drag over it this way in this other direction. Reduce the opacity. It's just, those little things that you as a designer can add to your design that would look good, but people would probably not notice. So if you take it out, doesn't matter. In fact, I'm still going to reduce the opacity, so it's even less likely that people even see it, but I'll just put it there. So let's type register here, and okay, just register bit.ly slash Donny link. Okay, I can make this, actually I can make it bigger, the link itself bigger than the register texts, yeah, so that people will see it. Make it regular and make it 7, right? So we can bring that here and put it at the center. Okay, let's also center it vertically to this rectangle. All right, lastly we have, is that the last thing? Oh, we still have a couple of things. We have a location icon, so we can come online to flaticon.com, search for location, and download. I'm going to download SVG, but if you don't have flat icon premium plan, you can just download the PNG. It's the same thing we are going to be doing eventually. I don't think I would be able to include this because I'm probably not allowed to share on SVG. So let me actually just download the PNG I can share, since PNGs are free on every plan. So come here, bring in the PNG. Black on black doesn't work, right? So what do? Color overlay, double click here, then come to color overlay, change the color to white. Let's bring it down here and reduce the size. Reduce the size. At this point, you should have started designing stuff on your own, have started building your portfolio, and I hope at this point, if you've been watching from the beginning, I would have seen your works online, you tagging me and me giving my feedback or response on it. But you should have started building your portfolio. You should have started having designs that you can attribute to yourself. Basically what I'm saying is, at this point you should have been designing, because we are very, very close to the end of this course. In fact, I think it's probably just one video left, a design left, and the last video would probably be me just rounding up everything. So our location here is Akoka, Lagos. So let's just put it there. Ctrl Z. Akoka, Lagos. You can put whatever location you want. It says your design. Alright, so we select this, Ctrl G to group, and we put it at the center. Alright, and what is the last thing we have to do? The last thing we have to do is this dates, venue, and registration detail that we have here. So let's create a rectangle, big one, not too big, around here. Now I like this style that I'm going to do now. I don't need a stroke, so I'm going to take it off. Now I'm going to unlink the corner radius. So without bringing out the transform controls, you unlink, change this to 0 and change this to 0. Right, I only need the top left and the bottom right curved. So let me reduce this width of this, reduce this like so. Let me zoom in so I have more control, right? And I'm going to skew it, Control C to bring out your transform control, then hold on Control so that you can skew, then Shift so you can skew in a straight line. You know, kind of the same way we did this this rectangle here. Don't forget it. You know, it's a rectangle, we created everything ourselves. So let's put this here, and we'll be putting the details. Ctrl T again. Let me skew this like this. Right, so we are skewing up and right. All right, let's create our text. Change it to white. This should be, what dates do we have here? Tuesday, 12th June 2029. Let me zoom in. Okay, and what else do we have to type? Limited to 50 participants. Right, we have this, limited to 50 participants. I think I want the 50 to be more visible. Right, I want it to stand out. So I'm going to change this from light to probably semi-bold. Yes. And lastly, we have, what information do we have? We have the fact that you have to pay 10,000 Naira registration fee. So let's change this to 10k, and let me increase the size of this and bring a copy of this here. So registration fee compulsory. This is like a 3-liner. So I'm going to reduce the line heights. All right, So let me group this 2 and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I want the spacing in between these to be equal. So I'm just going to come here and click this, right? So group everything now and bring it over here. Now what are we going to do? It doesn't look the same as this background. It doesn't fit in because this is straight and this is a shape that we've skewed. So we can just select our group, Ctrl T, and we'll do the same. Ctrl to skew while holding on Shift. So skew to the top and come here to skew to the right, so that it looks like they belong together. Alright, and this 50 participants is still not coming out the way I want it. So what I can do is come here, draw a circle or an ellipse, change the color to this color that we've been using, and bring this text to the top so that it's at the back. Now if people see this circle, now let me zoom out, it brings your attention to this 50, right? So this is one of the things you can do to like call people's attention to a particular text. You probably do a rectangle at the back to highlight it, or you can do this, or you can make it bold, right? Principles of design. If you've forgotten, you can check the previous videos to kind of refresh your memory on it. Alright, limited to 50 participants. Let me adjust this, and with that we've come to the end of this. So if you've had any issues, you got lost at a point, even though I hope at this point nobody's getting lost any longer, you can reach out to me on any of my social media handles. You know the deal, just reach out to me. I'm going to respond, try to assist as much as I can. And also, if you followed along and you created your own flyer, you generated your own image, you had problems, you solved it, and eventually you're able to come up with something, you searched for a logo, you got it. You basically designed your flyer just following the guidance in this video, then post it online and also tag me on any of my social media handles that would be in the description below. Alright, thank you for staying with me up to this point. See you in the next video.